Howdy guys, how's it going? So we are out here on another very wet and pretty cold day. As I was leaving to hike in, my little temperature gauge was reading 35 degrees, and because it's so wet, the humidity was pretty dang high. Today, the high is not supposed to go beyond 39, 40 degrees, and in the night we should hopefully be getting down right below freezing. Last night, whenever it took and set in the raining, it stayed right around the 32, 33 degree mark. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But one of the main things today that I wanted to get out and test for the first real world test is this Varsyleka hard shell rain jacket and rain pants that recently come in the mail. So hiking in, didn't have any issues whatsoever with it being about 35 degrees. I've got the pit zips open, and then for the fleece that I was wearing underneath, I kept it unzipped just so I didn't get too much heat building up in the core area. And this fleece is one that I've been wearing around the house a lot. It's one that we'll talk about a bit more in a bit when we start talking about tonight's sleep system. I'm going to take and hang up our temperature measuring device over here so that it can start recording that data for us. Anyways, this right here, the hike in was really solid, just taking my time at a steady pace. Also too, because everything is extremely wet and slippery, so didn't want to fall and bust my hind end. And yeah, we got the pack cover on. I did want to hike in with the Zoleo on the outside of my pack so that it could get rained on a bit, just to test the initial waterproofness of it. And happy to say, doesn't seem to cause any damage. I mean, this thing right here is supposed to be completely waterproof as long as you have all of your little doors and doojigs shut properly. So we do got this if any emergency was to arise. And yeah, just got the old Tasmanian Tiger pack. I can't think of the model of this one off the top of my head. But right now, while we have a bit of lull in the weather, most of what's falling on me right now is just falling from the few trees right here in this area. We have got our Varsyleka tarp to go along with our MO5 camo theme for this video. Because I don't know, man, this camo is just phenomenal. And I mean, you can see just how well it blends in this type of environment. So let's get the pack cover off and get the tarp set up. Okay, now one thing to note, the loadout looks extremely large this go around, and that's because I want to try something a little bit different. I've actually got two foam type sleeping pads with me. This is a Highlander mat that I got off Military First from that unboxing video we done a while back, and then on the bottom I have got our Savata mat, and that's what's going to act as our main waterproof barrier underneath us. And then I'm hoping that this mat won't really slide much on top of that one, so just kind of have to play that by ear. Okay, so now one thing too, and I have this thing kind of fastened to the outside here. For a while, I mean, I've been field testing a lot of different knives and things, but I've had my eye on a larger style, quote-unquote, survival knife that would be a really good multi-purpose, and this is one that I have landed on. I didn't even really need to undo that right there. We can probably put that back to make sure it stays secure. But this is an Extrema ratio. I got to double check the exact pronunciation of that. But Extrema ratio, maybe Extrema ratio. It's right in that ballpark area. But don't let the sheath fool you. This knife right here is one sexy beast of a knife. This exact model is the Sharpnel 1. If you can see it, I believe this is the stone washed blade finish. Aside from just doing some initial sharpness test, I've not done any field work with this knife yet, so you guys are going to be here for us to break it in together. And I didn't bring any tent stakes, so I need to find some wood. We just need to carve us out a couple of tent stakes real quick. Alright, so right here we've got a big large limb that appears to be a fallen black oak, and you know, that's a decently hard wood, and that just chopped through that one piece, no problem. That limb right back there is probably the one that I'm interested in making tent stakes out of. But one, it helps if I hit the mark. Because this right here is pretty evenly balanced. Like, this is not a really, really heavily weighted chopping blade. And that's kind of why I wanted to go with one of this size, is because it's nice and thick, but it's still controllable enough where you can choke up on it. You could take and do skin small game with this. We'll whittle our stakes here in a minute for some woodworking. I can already tell it's going to do really well at batoning. I didn't bring a saw this go round, so we probably won't get to do any batoning, and the ground and stuff is so wet that we'll just focus on building our fire with what we can pick up and process this way. These pieces right here are looking like grade A tent stake material. And that just bites into that wood so nicely. Oh. And we only need 3 because I want to just do a plow point shelter. Down and dirty tent stakes super fast. And there we got 3 hardwood tent stakes, and it sounded like it's starting to sprinkle a little bit, so we'll try to hurry and get this tarp situated. That on the pack cover. If it seemed like it was going to be raining any quicker or any harder right now, I would have focused on getting this tarp set up a lot quicker. But all in all, and yeah, after the last camp, I did notice there is one tie-off point on this, on one of the corners, that appears that the stitching is not really holding up to full strength. I'll have to find it. It's like an area where it looks like it might be, it's not this one, but it's near this like single stitching area, and that's where a stressor point was. I think like that really needed to have been double stitched in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, there it is. It was this corner right here. So just something to take note of. I can take and probably reinforce that by hand somehow, but I want to be careful with that. Kind of stuff that you learn and find out doing real world testing consistently. I'm going to see if the dimensions will run from this tree to that tree for filming purposes and such. If not, we'll have to figure something else out here. And then I don't know if the height is going to work out the way I want it to, but I'm going to take these other rope rollers and try pulling out to this that I like to hang my stuff off of. I really do need to change out the color of paracord with these, but the reflective blueness, okay, that right there is not probably going to work out very well. Because I don't think that one that I want to use is sturdy enough, but this one's kind of going to put this at a weird angle. Well, there we go. We've got a lot of surface area. I'd like to have had a center line a bit better positioned than what this is. That right there sags a little bit. I can stake out another point over there, but the area where I'm going to be putting their pad is actually laid out very nicely. I could even stake it down lower because there's a spot where some wind can get underneath it, but I'm really not worried about wind or anything like that on this one. Might even take a stick or something and try putting up here, because I do have a chair with me. I opted for a chair instead of a sit pad since it's so wet, but as long as I can get underneath this front lip, then that works for me. Okay, so here we got the Savada pad. And aside from some of these sticks, I'm going to leave the leaf debris, otherwise it's just going to be getting down to the forest dirt, and that's, you know, just an unnecessary muddy mess. And we'll bring her bag and stuff and sit on. Because also, here's that Titan Survival / the camo large canvas ground mat. So we have another large waterproof area to set gear on and use as a sitting meal pad. And then we might as well, I want to try to make sure I keep track of these. But this foam pad, I might see if we can fit this in our BIvy bag. Because I brought a BIvy bag with me that I've not used in a hot minute. And I'm going to take this off too, because as we're getting on up in the day, it's starting to warm up a little bit. But having this on, working in and around all of the trees and stuff is really good to keep your clothes dry. I drew a blank on the name of this. So yeah, so this fleece and our insulated jacket, which is making up our sleep system tonight, is made by Brooklyn Armed Forces. I just have found that company. They make like new production military gear, like the 7-layer system. And so I was really intrigued to check it out based off the price point and stuff that they're selling this new production stuff at. So there's our chairs, sit pack, camper too, same as the past few outings we've done. I'm really liking it. As long as I don't have to cut weight for distance or something, I don't mind the little bit of extra weight that this has over like my other backpacking chairs. And there, the rain is kicking back up. This is the Highlander Hawk 2, there you go. No, the Highlander Hawk BIvy. And yeah, it's been a minute since I've used this, but I remember it being like working very well. It's a nice tri-laminate, so it's kind of similar to Gore-Tex in a lot of ways. It's got 2 panels. You can take and completely zip it up closed, but you do that, you are going to run into condensation. But if it was the only shelter option you had to get out of the rain, you can use it for that. And even though it's going to be right around freezing, I'm going to go ahead and zip the bug netting face part of it into it, mainly because I'm wanting to see and check again kind of how this thing does condensation wise with that installed. The only thing is, it seems like I remember this BIvy being smaller / tighter filling in comparison to some of my other ones, but I think I might have just been comparing it to the US military Gore-Tex BIvy. And you know, that's not really a fair comparison. And one thing I can do right now is put these straps or elastic bands in here. Oh, but I did just realize one reason why I think it fell out of my normal rotation. And that's because it just has a 1/4 zip up at the top that goes down to right there. I'd say, well, that's actually probably about more of a 1/3, like a 1/3 zip. But guys, I think that right there is actually going to work perfectly. Because this pad did seem a little bit more narrow. Not by much at all, but by gosh, I think that right there is going to work perfectly. Even if the pad wants to come in a little bit, because we're going to be wearing, I've got the level 7 military surplus pants for the level 7 layer, and then I got the Brooklyn Armed Forces new production level 7 Gen 3 puffy. So I think we're going to be in for really nice night's sleep. The fleece, there's that. Let's take and get our chair out and figure out, even if we have, if our head's touching this some, that's fine. I ain't really worried about the condensation for that much. And I'm going to be relying on the fire to boil water for food and everything else, so that's something we'll have fun making a fire in the rain. There we go. Yeah, I want to position this more that way. And this, like this plow point shelter would be in a slightly more ideal situation if there was a tree that was more in direct line with where I needed the back stakeout point to be. But there's not one that's not 20-30 yards away, so we will work with this. Alrighty guys, the rain is not let up. Right now we're sitting at about 38 degrees. I want to just pull out some of this hot snot stuff. I still got, this tube's probably about 2/3 of the way full still. Just gathered up some wood, but I intentionally didn't seek out anything that is any drier than anything else just laying around. This right here is wet enough that whenever I first squeezed it, water was dripping off of it after I broke it up. So we're going to see how the old hot snot does in this wetted conditions. Just kind of curious. I, have my normal fire kit with fire plugs and stuff on me, and we're not going to go crazy with it because I want to kind of see what it can do. So consider that a decent amount. Oh, and then in the sleeve pocket of our rain jacket, it's got one of these little BCB ferro rods. For anybody that's curious, got a Roxxon multi-tool here. I'm going to use the sawtooth blade. This one hasn't even got its coating wore off of it yet. There we go. That right there took a surprising number of strikes, not gonna lie. Normally that stuff performs a lot better, but it might have got a raindrop on it right when it was looking. It really wasn't looking. These little BCB ferro rods normally are pretty solid. Now, as I mentioned, all this stuff is soaking wet, and it is actively raining right now. If I wanted to really guarantee this fire to work this first go around, I would get that canvas mat of mine and drape it over lean-to style, but I think that will be fine and dandy. It's just important to go ahead and get the next layer of wood on it. And there we go. We got a pretty solid base established there. So now we just keep our larger stuff piled on top of it so the heat can dry it out, and that also doubles as a way to shed water away from the center of our fire. So gonna let this get burned down to a point to where we can eventually get a grate on it, get some water boiling, and have a nice warm bag of food. And I won't be very mindful not to get any embers or ashes on this jacket or pants set here. We'll get our water in here and get it going. I have a grate, but it's going to be a little bit like too much effort to try and work with that grate and manage the fire with the rain and stuff still coming down. So we'll just put that right there in the center and it'll get boiling in no time. Reach into our bag of tricks and get our light out. Very nice. And this is a delicious meal we have got. The Pinnacle Foods Chipotle Beef Burrito Bowl. Sounds phenomenal. Crack it open and get that little bad boy out of there. And there's a gander what it looks like. This one recommends 1.25 cups of water. Smells so good. I think we might have just about nailed the amount of water that we needed on that first pour there. Just look at how good that looks already. So we'll seal her up and get about 12 minutes. Well, fingers crossed that that's in frame, because I'm absolutely blinding myself right now, but I'm ready to try this food, because even with the package sealed, I can smell it. This thing plumped up really, really nicely. It looks really moist. I mean, yeah, guys, another absolute winner. I mean, when it comes to these freeze-dried meals, Pinnacle Foods, they just have the best pre-seasoned and quality, just quality tasting ingredients, but definitely the best pre-seasoned meals. Really helps you feel revitalized on a cold and wet day like this. So guys, I'm going to finish eating this and get back with y'all whenever it's time to hit the hay. Okay, this shelter area is a little bit more cramped inside than I had originally thought it would be, because we couldn't get the pitch of this up any higher. But I mean, there's tons of room in here. Just the head height itself isn't that substantial. It'll be fine and dandy. I got my bag on that wax canvas mat, We'll be able to keep her jacket and stuff up in a chair here. I'm going to be using this fleece rolled up as my pillow. Now going into the bag, right now it's not that cold. I'll definitely be starting out with this unzipped. This is that Brooklyn Armed Forces level 7 jacket in that like military gray color. Wanted something different that stand out from all my other colored stuff. Same as the last time we done this, I've got that gravel blanket that packs really small if we need it, but we're going to be more than warm enough. And this is a pair of surplus level 7 pants. These come from One Thief surplus. I got these towards the end of last year, and I've used these hunting before since then. But you know, this right here is one of the most affordable outdoor clothing systems that you can really go for if you can find them on the surplus market. But then if you want something the same, like the price of this to be new production is pretty dang incredible. So I will try to link to that in the description. Right now I'm going to take and trade out, because I'm going to use this as a pillow. And I know you can see my breath. It is about 30. The last time I looked at the thermometer, we're sitting at about 35 degrees. But I have got nice and acclimated, and I've been moving around. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put the pants down into the BIvy with me, because I am going to just leave my regular pants on as I normally do. And that'll be fine. And I'll have to undo these boots, because these boots do have a lot of laces on them. Get there. We'll go ahead and bundle this up and stick it up here at the head end of our BIvy bag. And that'll make a very, very nice pillow. And it'll be warm and ready for us in the morning. Unzip the waterproof pants. Full length side zip, make it super easy to get in and out of. Those over the bag there. And even the cuffs of my pants are actually dry, because where those stayed down and cinched, because the temp's not getting extremely low, and like usual I'm wearing my pants, and I'm going to start off with the socks that I have on now, just to, my feet are like, and my socks are dry. I've been moving around, but these Zamberlan hunting boots, like my feet are fine. It is one of those things, guys, you got to know your body, like by getting out and practicing what works and what don't. Sometimes, like some people, you got to, you know, watch your feet like a hawk, and you can have issues if you don't change out socks. Like, I mean, for an overnighter, it's not that big of a deal. And then with these, we'll go ahead and, because I forgot this thing only has the quarter zip on it, so we'll start with just leaving these things kind of mostly unzipped. But go ahead and get our legs in it. I just don't want to start things off sweaty. So yeah, dimension wise, this pad feels, oh yeah, feels really good. And just like that, guys, we are good to go. And Like I said, I got my face right here at the netting. It does have like a bit of a wire frame to it, but where this pad is in here at the shoulders, it's kind of, you know, spread things apart there. So just the wire that's inside of this mesh area itself ain't quite enough, but that's why I always like to wear a hat, because it can do the job of keeping the mesh off my face and also helping keeping it positioned properly. And we actually do have plenty of room, like in the BIvy itself. Oh yeah, but these two mats on top of each other are actually really comfortable. So you guys, I'm just going to get cozy, and unless anything eventful happens in the night, I will see y'all in the morning. One thing's for sure, I got to unzip this jacket right now. But yeah, if anything happens, I'll let you know, and till the morning, good night. Oh, good morning guys, how's it going? It is definitely a cool and wet morning. I looked at my thermometer and we're sitting around 37.5 degrees. At some point during the night it got up to 40 degrees. And so it's kind of funny that it done that little dip, but it just probably some type of thermal pocket here where we're, you know, set up at. But I gotta say, this setup right here was really comfortable. What I've done with the pants, the insulated pants, was I just pulled those down and covered my feet with them, and where they got the elastic, they stayed, you know, around my feet. And you know, this jacket comes down a bit past your hips. I mean, there's just like, I don't know, maybe a 4 to 5 inch gap, you know, in my waist area that wasn't covered, but that wasn't an issue whatsoever. Doing this dual foam pad system was very, very comfortable. Didn't slide around at all, which is the main reason why I wanted to try it out. Obviously, it's way more bulky than just using one foam pad and then an inflatable pad. But you know, the pack could easily handle it. The fact that the rain cover was also able to cover everything was great. So that's something that I'll probably try to do again. Just depends on if I know I'm going to have to do a lot of bushwhacking or not. This particular spot's one that I've got. Now I have a pretty established trail too. Aside from just whenever we have storms come through and trees and branches and everything get blowed in, but that's still not much. This Brooklyn Armed Forces level 7 jacket, great. Like I said, I left it unzipped for a good portion, but like in the early morning hours, whenever that, you know, I don't know, it's just that more bone chilling cold sets in, zipped it up, and I'm as snug as a bug in a rug. So now all that's left to do is get all this stuff taken down and shake any excess water with this. You know, there'll just be a bit of dampness on the bottom of this sleep pad. It's really quick and easy to air out. Just leave it unrolled and then just shake the tarp out and hang it up. And other than that, I think my rain gear pretty much got dried out, and it's not supposed to rain anymore. And so yeah guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, really appreciate taking time to watch the video. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not already, share the channel and the videos, friends, family, anybody enjoys good old outdoor activities and gear. Make sure to go back and check out all my other videos if you are not up to date with everything. If you're interested in the gear that I've used in this outing, remember to always check the video description. I try to link to stuff for you guys if it's still available on the internet. And until the next one, guys, adios.